Hello and welcome to the next edition of the Spiritual Chronicles. And I'm really excited because today we are joined by the ever so lovely Chris Brandell. Chris, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm really excited to get a chance to talk with you tonight.
Yay! Now, for all of our beautiful listeners, would you please introduce yourself and tell us who you are and how you show up in this magnificent world?
I am an American intuitive abstract artist. What that really means is that I paint from an unplanned uh, state of mind, using my intuition to guide me, and the way that I feel to guide me as I go through the process of making my marks. I'm an abstract painter. I use primarily drawing media and oil paint. So my paintings can be very raw looking, or they can be very layered, depending on how the composition comes together, where my intuition is taking me and leading me. I'm mostly inspired by the things that are found in and around and near my studio. I live in the beautiful state of Florida in the United States, on an island known as Marco Island, and I live very close to the beach, walking distance. So I'm really inspired by things in nature, shells and sand dollars and things that I find on my walks, beautiful flowers and just whatever it is that I feel that I'm meant to see at the moment. Those kinds of things inspire me, and I take them with me from my walks or from my journeys around town back into the studio, and they become, I think, the foundation for some inspiration. It's interesting because I'm also very connected to words and poetry, lyrics, things like that, the written word. I feel the energy of those things, and I bring that into my painting as well, particularly as it relates to how I ultimately feel about the paintings. I'm able to kind of codify that in the words that I may have read or pulled from a song or a poem, and those things often become the titles of my work. So
Love that.
basically, I have items that inspire me. I have sort of words that inspire me. I kind of call that heartfelt and physical kinds of inspirations, and they come together to really just be in my body, and they come out on. I channel them out onto the canvas. People always ask
Amazing.
me, thank you. People always ask me, what are my paintings about? And I just tell them that my paintings are really about love, whether it's romantic love or spiritual love or self-love or any other platonic love, right? Those are the things that I believe I was meant to put on the canvas. And I feel like I'm channeling them from something greater than myself. And hopefully when people see my work and they resonate with it, that's what they take away from it. Some feeling of love that allows them to expand that in their world. So that's
Oh my
that's
gosh,
what I
I
do.
just love that. And I love your work, big fan. And I just wanted to ask, how did you get to this point? Like, how did you become an intuitive abstract artist? Like, what was I guess, the turning point in your life's journey that suddenly made you land here? Because I actually wanted to be an artist when I was a kid and, grew up in the 70s where, I was told it was really practical and you need
Yeah.
to be a secretary or a nurse in my high school. And so I never got to follow that path. I show up for it now in different ways. But yeah, what was the journey behind it?
Well, I think that so many people are artists by nature, and so many of us are sort of turned away from that as a practical matter, right? And so, similarly to you, my focus was business, and I was encouraged to do that by all the people that surround me and love me, and in fact, I did that. I had a very successful business simultaneously with painting. In fact, I would tell people that my business was my hobby, and what I was doing for painting was my actual career and my love. Although in truth, that wasn't the case at the time.
Yeah.
Um, uh, in and around 2012, I kind of started painting professionally. That's when I really started to realize that this was my heart's calling. This was what I wanted to do. But it was not until 2019 that I left the business world. And I was very fortunate in the company that I owned with my founding partner, who was also a friend of mine. She was a little bit younger than me, and she wanted to focus on her family. I wanted to really pursue my love of painting. And so we decided we were going to sell the business, and miraculously, the universe kind of brought that to us much faster than we ever expected. We were able to successfully sell the business, and I was able to really pursue my passion in a full-time way since 2019. It's interesting, though. I spoke with somebody else about this today as well. I'm being interviewed for a feature article here in the US in a magazine. And the question was a little bit different than the way you phrased it, but it was essentially sort of how did you become an intuitive painter versus a painter? And it made me realize that there was a real turning point for me because as a painter, I struggled for a long time to really sort of get my grip on what I was doing as a painter. I think this is a thing that a lot of artists go through. They have that sort of artist struggle, and we sort of come to believe that that's what's supposed to happen in our art career. And I think the whole time I knew without understanding that I was an intuitive painter. And because I didn't understand that, and because I had come really from a business space, I kept trying to plan and think about and sort of if I just learn one more thing, I'll have this figured out, what it is that I'm supposed to do, what will change the nature of this. And what actually happened was a friend of mine told me one day that she thought I should blindfold myself in the studio and paint. I was expressing to her some of the struggle and frustration I was having. She said, "Chris, just try this experiment. I want you to put a blindfold on and go up to the canvas and make some marks." And I wouldn't do it. I thought it was silly, and I wouldn't do it for, I don't know, it might have been more than a week. And she kept bugging me about it and said, "Chris, have you tried that yet?" So finally, in my frustration, there was a t-shirt laying on one of my chairs in the studio, and I tied it around my head. And I went up to the canvas with a charcoal in my hand, and I made some marks for, 5 minutes or something. And I took the blindfold off, and I loved what I had done. And all I can tell you is I just literally went up to the canvas and put some marks on. I had no belief whatsoever, no belief that I was going to create something, right? And I took the blindfold off and loved what I had done. And so what I learned from that experience, and this is why it was really a turning point, what I learned from that experience was it was that not being able to see, not being able to plan, and actually being frustrated and thinking what I was doing was silly, that allowed my intuition to actually just take over and create something on the canvas. And
I have to give it a go.
And as soon as I realized this, yes, I would encourage all people to do this, right? But as soon as I realized that, wow, look, I created something I loved without thinking about it, without planning it, without knowing it was going to happen. Wait a minute. What does that mean, right? And so as soon as I understood that a little bit better, and of course, thinking about something is really the opposite or the contrast of intuition, but you have to think about it to get there. And so I began to think a little bit about that. And I just thought I have to put myself in this environment more and more. So I began to try to understand how to be more present and how to take my mind and my thinking brain out of the process. And the more I got used to doing that, the more I became present, the more that I loved my work, and actually other people resonated with it as well.
I think that's a really good point when you talk about the fact that you love your work, because I know, like in a business sense, even in life, when people are doing things that don't feel aligned, it shows. We can tell the difference to when, I know for clients that I've coached in the past that, I'm like, what makes you shine? Like, what lights you up in your journey or in your business or in your life? That's where you need to be, because when you're doing what you love, you attract in what else is supposed to be showing up for you. And I love that. I love that with your artwork. And I know that you are very, very successful in your artwork, and designers love it. And it's just, for me, when it comes to doing artwork, I have that stuck thing in my head where I think it needs to be a certain way, and then
Of
I'm
course.
trying to paint within the constrictions that I don't love what I do. So yeah, I think that's a really good exercise, getting people to close your eyes and
Yeah.
paint to see what comes forward.
You'll be amazed when you do it. I mean, even if you just do it on some note paper, with a pencil, right?
Yeah.
You'll just be amazed at how your heart and your soul, or whatever it is, right? That the inside of you takes over and allows you to do something that you couldn't do with your eyes and your thinking brain. It's really amazing. It's
And
quite an experience.
was it a big scary step, like stepping from a business where you knew you had sort of that more residual income, to suddenly having to step and trust it a bit more, put your faith in the universe having your back, to be more intuitive at pursuing what you love? But I know that many of us will have those moments where we're like, oh my gosh, am I going to make money out of this?
Yeah.
Is this the right path? Am I, shoot myself in the foot?
Sure.
How did that transition happen?
Well, it's interesting. It was a lot harder than I expected. I've been working for 40 years, making a paycheck at, some routine interval my whole life. And all of a sudden I wasn't making a paycheck at a routine interval, and so you really have to get used to this idea of living a little more fluidly, which I got used to very quickly. I was fortunate. I was already selling work before I was out of the business space.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I had developed a lot of good artwork business, or art related business contacts. So I wasn't completely starting from scratch on the artwork side. I did have some security and some knowledge that I would be able to make some money, but it was definitely different than working and having, the very concrete comfortableness of having a job, right?
The safety, yeah.
The safety, that's the right word. That was the word. The security and safety of that, right, was definitely not there. But there was also a lot of freedom I gained as well, which I didn't, know. You sort of can't see when you're on the other side, right? And so not having a job and not answering to people, and not owing answers to other folks, and it was a very freeing experience. But it was a transition. I did have to get used to it. It's not for the faint of heart, I think. You leave this social situation behind and you're really venturing into something new. So I would encourage people to do it. It's just that it's not always that easy. Every moment is not that easy.
And being an intuitive artist, and particularly working, where you're embracing your energy and your intuition, we know that grounding and having regular practices to help us keep centered and focused and aligned. What are yours? What are practices that you love doing as part of your daily or weekly routine that help you show up in your artistic work?
Sure. I definitely have a very good physical exercise routine, and I believe in really good nutrition. Those things seem very far away from artwork, but in fact, I feel like if my body and my mind are physically healthy, then that definitely makes a difference in how I feel in the studio. In fact, if I'm sick for some reason, I really can't go to the studio. I have to feel good to be in the studio. So that's part of it, certainly. But there's the more specific things that I do that really are about being in the studio is I do a lot of walking. As mentioned, I live on an island. I live near the beach. So I walk. I have a beautiful dog, and I walk with him on the island, as well as walking on the beach, which I love to do. Anytime I am feeling like I'm a little frazzled or life is a little chaotic, because it certainly is. I'm just like everyone else on the planet. My life is busy with crazy stuff going on. One of the ways that I get present sometimes is just walk outside for a few minutes, take a couple of breaths, go out barefooted, feel the grass underneath my feet, say to myself, I am present, and one of the things I love to do when I'm in the studio, maybe my hands have paint all over them and I can't go outside at the moment, is I'll just stand still and kind of quietly for a few moments. I'll try to listen for a few sounds that I can hear with my eyes closed, and that I might not be listening to those sounds normally, but I want to hear them. And I'll kind of feel, I always tell people this, some people get it and some people don't, but feel the energy field in my body, like feel, if I could feel the veins and the cells flowing through the veins of my blood, it's something like that, you know? And so just trying to be really try to identify with my own presence. And that will, and it doesn't take long, 5 minutes, right? You know, is all I really need to do that and kind of come back to a grounded center place. I do a lot of meditation as well, but not so much as a predecessor to painting. I do it because I think it's something that I, number one, really enjoy, and number two, I believe is really great for me. So kind of like, you know, walking on the beach, meditation or doing my exercise, meditation is kind of my mental exercise. I certainly can do it before I paint, but it's not specifically related to painting for me. So all of those things kind of around keeping myself healthy and, you know, feeling the energy that I possess and that I can control really does make a difference in the studio for me.
Yeah, I think it's very body, mind, and soul is, you know, all of those elements coming to nourishing that. So for our enthusiastic audience who are passionate artists, who may want to become intuitive artists, you know, what would be your, I guess, words of wisdom to get started on that journey? Because I'm sure that there would be many people who would look at your work and just go, I love it. I wish I could be like that. And I am one of those people. So, you know, what are your words of wisdom for those who may want to start that journey?
Sure. Well, you know, I think, first of all, I truly believe that every human being is a creative human being. And some people choose to use it very differently. Some people choose to never use it at all, right? But I do believe everyone has a chance to. So if you have a desire to paint or draw or be some kind of an artist, then the most important thing is to try to do it. And even if your situation only allows you to doodle on small scraps of paper, you know, for 10 minutes a day, do that, right? Just practice it, just do it however you can. I would say that for me, you know, really learning about spirituality and energy and different kind of energy modalities and healing things was something that really helped me become a whole person, and I think ultimately helped me on my path as a painter. Again, not directly related to painting, but because it helped me grow, I therefore was able to grow in my art practice. So I think that anything you can do for your own health and welfare personally, it will help you in whatever desire you have to be a creative person. But just simply allowing yourself to be creative and to do creative things and to not be worried about it or think someone's going to judge you, or just to do it, is probably the most powerful advice that I could give. It's about practice, you know, practicing it.
Yeah. And I know for me, like on the journey of spirituality, trust in myself, trust in what I'm hearing, seeing, feeling, like that's been a big contributor to me stepping forward and being able to keep moving forward. Because the minute I get in my head is the minute that I sabotage everything. So I definitely think.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. In fact, for me, intuition really is about trust, right? Because I'm stepping up to, you know, I have very expensive supplies in my line of work, you know, and I'm doing really large work. My pieces are, and it's probably like 180 centimeters square or something like that. I'm not doing the math very well, but large pieces. You know,
we can see some of your canvases. For those who are watching, we can see some of your canvases in the background. So large pieces.
Yes, some of they are there. That's right. You can see them. So it requires, you know, for me to step up to a canvas and not have a plan and not have a sketch and not be able to tell you what the outcome is going to be. Just to be able to do that requires a big level of trust. And so, like you said, like I really everything I have done does play into me trusting myself and believing that I can do this. This is, it's almost as though I could say that I can't stop myself from doing it because it is from inside of me. It's happening whether I want it to or not, right? And I want
love
it to,
that.
so all the better, you know? Yeah. So, but trusting it is really important.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love it. Now, tell us, what's on the cards? What are you working on, or what's coming up?
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I hope in early 2026 to be working on to be publishing a coffee table book.
Amazing.
One of the things I've been working on in the last couple of months, and you might see it on my website, are a couple of blog posts. I realized that not only do I enjoy taking in words from poems and songs and things like that, but I also enjoy expressing the words. And so I really enjoyed writing. And so this coffee table book will have many years worth of work in it, all of what I think are my best pieces, but the stories around them as well, and other stories about my journey, which I'm really enjoying working on. So it's a combination of artwork and stories. And as I said, I hope it'll be early 2026 that I get to do that. I just finished 21 pieces, large pieces, some of which you can see in the background. And just today, as a matter of fact, one of the galleries that represents me told me that they'd like to have 13 of them. So I'm very excited.
Wow, Chris, congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
That is amazing.
It is. It's I'm thrilled about it. So I'll start posting again on Instagram. I've been really bad. That's one of the habits that I need to work on in 2026. But I'll start posting some of this work soon and be showing it to the world. And then lastly, I'm hoping to have a solo exhibit maybe in early 2026. I haven't done one in a while. And so I need to start working with my galleries on that. So yeah, those are some of the things that are coming up for me. Yeah, I'm really excited about them.
So if people want to find you, where would they find you?
Couple of ways. Instagram, I'm at Chris Brandell, just my name. And then my website also, www.chrisbrandell.com. And sign up. I have you can subscribe to my mailing list. I send out a newsletter that has announcements about exhibits and other places you might see me in person. As well as, some writing now and then about different things that are going on in the art world and with my artwork, stories behind the canvases, things like that. And, or come to Marco Island and maybe I'll see you walking on the beach.
Oh, awesome. Oh, okay. I'll just hop on a plane. I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I will be sure to add all of the links to your websites and social media in the show notes so everybody can come and talk to you like I do. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining me on the show today. I just love your work, and I can't wait to see the copybook live. And thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Anne. I loved it. Thanks for talking with me. Thanks to all your listeners.